What happens to people who die suddenly, like in accidents, accidental deaths, or murder? This question stayed with me for a long time. We know what happens to those who pass away peacefully, but what about those who die in accidents, especially in terrorist attacks or traffic accidents? To understand this, you have to imagine yourself in that situation. I remember I went to visit my mom and dad about 2.5 years ago. Today, I was watching a video by a YouTuber. They are quite popular, though I don't know their names. They create comedy videos and are probably siblings. They were going to the same place. Later they posted a video saying, "We just escaped by the skin of our teeth. We often think, thank goodness we're safe. But when something terrible actually happens, when a death occurs, what happens next?" What do you think? Is there a difference? Someone dies naturally from old age. Someone dies after a long illness. Someone is taken to the hospital for treatment, where they try hard to save them, but they still die, while someone else dies suddenly. Is there a difference for their souls, for their molecular bodies, especially their subtle body? In reality, I believe death can be categorized into two types: untimely death and natural death. A natural death is better because it gives both the person dying and their loved ones time to come to terms with it. Death itself is unpleasant. However, there is also the remembering self, the mind that holds memories. The last memory we hold can be very painful, especially if it's so sudden. Like one moment your child was here playing, jumping around, and all of us were enjoying, and the next moment they're gone. That shock affects everyone. In fact, through the series we've been following, we saw that young souls, fresh young souls, have a hard time processing death after they pass. They often try to reconnect for a long time. Those they love often don't even realize they have died. And sometimes it takes a long time for someone to actually leave their body. For example, I had a brother-in-law who took at least 6 months to depart after a road accident. He was in the hospital for 2 to 3 months with efforts to save him, and then went home completely paralyzed. Or my grandmother, who is ill, suffering from amnesia, and unable to eat. The family is worried. In their situation, a person almost looks forward to somehow being freed from their body. So I hope you all keep this in your prayers, that no one's life ends prematurely, because to truly come to terms with this, you need time. Now the question is, how do we process this? For that, I have my own personal insight. The world we live in is created in a certain way. I call it the world of story and time. Spiritual teachers who have transcended their physical bodies, like Krishna Shankaracharya and Ramana Maharshi, believe that everything in this world is an illusion, not real. But ordinary people still remember all the stories threaded through time, like, this is my husband, this was my wife, I used to live here, this person hurt me. Every day, our minds keep recording these memories, and we take them as truth. Yet, this is only half the truth. We live this half-truth every day. We die a little every day. One way we actually die is during sleep, when all our memories fade away. However, if you want to process death before dying, you have to detach from the stories. And do you know what the most dangerous thing about stories is? How do you avoid suffering? What do you enjoy most in a movie? A happy ending. A happy ending. And if there isn't a happy ending, at least a conclusion of some kind. The craving for a climax is like the sweet treat we get or a meal or at the end of a story. That's why we say, oh, that poor young person died. They just got married. Their children were just born. They had their whole life ahead of them. And this is nothing more than our brain's craving for stories. These stories form automatically in your mind. But whenever you see that a story is breaking, like it just happened or happened to a friend of yours, observe it as a fact. What does our mind do? As soon as an accident happens or a sad event occurs, it tries to erase it. It doesn't want to face it, doesn't want to talk about it. And if it does, it always wants to react, thinking we'll take revenge. It doesn't want to let it go. Yet through these reactions, it tries to change the story. While in reality, this world is a vast canvas of time where all those memories form stories. This is his brother. That is her sister. This is the king. This is the prime minister. This is the police officer. This is the terrorist. while looking at it. So this entire game, just as Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, I am doing everything. I am the one who is killing everyone. In fact, when Lord Krishna was being cursed by Gandhari, who said that he could have stopped the Mahabharata war but didn't, he replied, whenever anyone from either side was dying, I was dying too. You don't realize that the sorrow I feel from losing the warriors is just as deep as the grief you feel from losing your children. But for Lord Krishna, all these stories were simply his story. In fact, a mind like his doesn't cling to stories. So if you want to make peace with death, let go of the worst experiences in your life and release any guilt or unfinished desires with a sincere thank you. I want you, as a spiritual seeker, as a yogi, to see this clearly. It's not happening to you right now, but whenever something minor happens, like a sister saying something that hurts her brother, or a big argument between a husband and wife, view it as, this is part of life, part of the story, part of reality. Don't feel the need to wrap it up neatly. Why isn't there a happy ending? Because if you face the truth, there is no such thing as a happy ending in this physical world. There are two kinds of death, premature death and timely death, and our minds create stories around these events. 247. We try to live within those stories. So, sometimes, step outside them. Just pause for 2 seconds or 4 seconds. Look around you.